Fog Racing, back with another video, and it's F1 Manager. We're here for the Japanese Grand Prix, and hopefully we can continue Ferrari's fine form and get closer to clinching both titles. But as you can see, we're scheduled for a wet weekend across 2 of the 3 days, apart from Saturday, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. But in terms of practice, it's evenly matched at the top, but it looks like Max Verstappen holds the edge. But we dive into qualifying, we've got Lance Stroll just late braking here and destroying his front wing. It won't be the only time people crash into that corner, I can guarantee it. But a few drivers also taking grid penalties. But we move in to Q3 here. Sainz is currently on top, but Leclerc could. Nah, I can't. Neither can Verstappen. Verstappen was getting the toll the entire way around the lap. Still couldn't get the job done. And now, at this point, I mean, Sainz has done it, because I doubt Lewis Hamilton or Pierre Gasly's going to outdo him. And it looks like all the hard work, not the hard work, but all the form that AlphaTauri had around the Belgian Grand Prix, around those sort of races, it's kind of like, yeah, they're still quick, like, but around those races, they were looking fucking lightning quick, if we're being honest. But into the race, rain is scheduled here in Japan, in Suzuka, but hopefully we will be on our toes and deal with the strategy when it comes to it. But it's a good start there for Carlos Sainz. Leclerc tries to overtake Perez. Fucking man, it was almost an Ayrton Senna fucking Alain Prost moment there. But thankfully Sainz is in the lead, and we've got Leclerc, who's just managed to scrape ahead of Hingy. But the thing is, Sainz is actually sitting on the medium tyre. But this was stupid for me, guys, not going to lie. I pitted Leclerc, and then pretty much only a few laps later, the rain began to fall, which means I'd literally done an extra stop for no reason, which I was fuming about at the time. I was fuming about, because as you can see, the rain's coming down, but the track just ain't wet enough. Like, if I pit at Leclerc for inters, maybe it could have worked out, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It was pretty hard to tell, but as you see, looking at the weather forecast, the track is going to get wet. It looks like it's going to get full wet, and then go back to enter, but it's not going to be full wet for long, so at this point, you kind of just got to risk it. Go for the intermediates, but as you see, the drivers down the lower end of the grid, they're all pitting. They're on the inters, which means they can probably leapfrog quite a few guys that are in the points right now. But in terms of Carlos Sainz, we've just got to play it cool. I mean, Leclerc, yeah, that's done. But as you can see, Sainz pits, Perez stays out. Very questionable decision making here. So does the Alpine of Ocon. Alonso's in the pits though. As you can see, George Russell also stayed out, but we managed to overtake him there with Carlos Sainz. I believe that was for P2, and then Max Verstappen on his cold intermediates spins right in front of a McLaren. Not good for him. And now Perez dives into the pits, so will Russell, so Carlos Sainz retakes the lead. And as you can see, the track at this point is wet. We're leading from Hamilton. Sainz has got a massive lead. Leclerc is behind Alonso and Russell, and we know DRS, it's so hard to overtake. Like, even if you're the much quicker car, like, it's so hard to overtake unless you have a complete tyre advantage. As you can see, we can't even get the manoeuvre done at the turn one, for God's sake. What is going on here? What is going on? But now the wet part of the race came and gone, so we've got a pit for softs. But the question is, I mean, will softs get to the end? There is a decent amount of laps to go, but as you see in the opening stint, I think we will be able to get the job done. But we've pit at Leclerc a lap, maybe too early, but it didn't really matter. Hopefully we can leapfrog a bunch of drivers with pit at Carlos Sainz, and now the track, it says it's dry, so I mean there's no real reason why we can't attempt to move up the grid here, but we'll see how it goes. I'm sure some people will continue to risk it on the inters, but as you can see, George Russell is being held up here by Lando Norris, and he's actually holding us up too, and it's making Fernando Alonso catch the back of us too. And just wonder why some people just stay out on the inters. Like, there's just literally no need for it. Like, why would you even attempt to stay out on the inters? Like, unless you thought there was more rain coming, like, but then the extra lap, I mean, you could argue they don't want to sit behind their teammate, like, but look at this. Leclerc, Russell, Alonso, Gasly, I mean, soon to be Bottas as well, we're all just getting fucking held up here. No way of getting through, because Russell isn't wanting to risk it. And we're sitting here on soft tyres compared to his completely worn intermediates. Russell hangs one round the outside, and just look at the amount of like time that Russell's pulled on us already. Leclerc pulls it for the slipstream, so does Alonso, and hopefully it means we're going to get Norris. But saying that, fuck me, man, Lando Norris some serious amount of straight line speed. We've got Sergio Perez in the pits. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2. There's loads of just very changeable conditions, so cars are just kind of flying off at every fucking point at this rate. And now George Russell slides out just like Stroll did in qualifying. It's a very similar incident, but he didn't. I don't think he's broke his front wing. I think he's just able to rejoin as George Russell, but that's a pretty costly mistake there. He's threw away quite a handful of points, as you can see, but you know, it is one of those. It is a hard corner, to be fair, so I'll give him that. Like, you know, and I think he has hit the wall, to be honest. And now the safety car is being deployed, and I wonder why the safety car has been deployed. Oh, it's that guy George Russell, literally repeating the same incident. Verstappen spins under the safety car. And that is the way the race finished, guys. It finished under the safety car. Very anticlimactic. Really looking forward to the race getting back underway with a couple of laps on soft tyres, but it didn't. But Carlos Sainz with the fastest lap in the win extends his championship advantage. I think it's only a matter of time before this guy's crowned world champion. Next up, it's America. Make sure you tune in. But until next time, peace.